Pesachim Daf Nun Zayin. Today's email comes from 17-year-old David Cohen from Gibraltar. I felt like I had to email you to thank you for your consistently clear shir every day. It is inspiring how awake and sharp you are every day. I am 17 years old, and although I recently started listening to the shir, it has had an amazing impact on my life. I've only been on live Zoom once, 6 a.m. in Gibraltar, but I feel like I'm hearing it every day. Chazak. By the way, thanks for the ingredients for the kutach. My mom started making it, and it is so good. He's referring to the moldy bread and the smelly sour milk. I love the sweet and sour, he says. Best regards, David Cohen. Amazing. You should have atzlacha. You should finish Shas with us. So in Yerichai, they used to give payah from certain vegetables. The Gemara says, well, one of them was a constant, turnips. Reb Shimon says you also have to add, in the beginning they would give from cabbage. They would set aside a corner of the field, payah for the poor. According to Rabbi Yossi, they set aside also from the leek. The Gemara tells us a story. The son of Behoyayin would give payah from the vegetables, which you're really not supposed to. His father came in one day and he sees the poor grabbing the vegetables. He says, listen, Bonai, my sons, put it down and I will reimburse you double from chulin that I already took meisers. That there's no problem. Don't think that I am stingy, just it's usher for me to give you payah from the vegetables. The Gemara tells us that, to begin with, in the Beis HaMikdash, they used to take all the hides, put it in a room called Beis HaParva. At night, they would divide it. But then there were the tough guys that came, the tough kohanim, and they would grab more than they deserved. So they decided, let's do it once a week. There'll be more kohanim around. Every Erev Shabbos, they'll divide it. But then the chashav kohanim came, and they took more than they deserved. So everybody decided together, let's make all the hides hegdish. No one could have any benefit from it at all. So they went and they sold all the hides, and the Beis HaMikdash had so much money that they were able to produce tiles that were 1 amma by 1 amma by a dinner thick, tiles like we have today, 24 inches by 24 inches, made out of pure gold. And every yontif, they would pick up these tiles and place them on display so everybody could see them, because during the year they were in the Heichal where the Klal Yisrael couldn't see them, but they put them outside and on Harabai so people could see it. We learned in the Mishnah that in Yerichai, they allowed to use the branches from trees that the actual tree was hegdish, and the aftergrowth, whatever grew after the hegdish, they would go ahead and use. Now the question is, why did the people of Yerichai make these trees hegdish to begin with? The Gemara tells us, once again, we're talking about tough people that would come and steal these trees. They figured, if we're not going to have them, no one will have them. Let's give them to hegdish. So the Gemara tells us about 4 kohanim gedolim that their sons were the gizbarim in the Beis HaMikdash. Their son-in-laws were in charge of everything, and their slaves would go around hitting people. Ben Baitus, his slaves, would go around with a mace with sharp edges and hit people. Chanan, his children would go around giving people bad advice. Kasrois would go around writing bad things about people. And Yishmael ben Piyachi, even though he was a good guy, but his family would beat people up. The Gemara tells us there were 4 koilos, 4 tzvachos, screams that came out of the Azara Baskals. First one was the children of Eli should leave the Azara immediately because they were metama the Azara. Then the Baskals come out and say, Su Sha'arim ben Piyachi, who we just mentioned, he was a good person, but his descendants weren't. Come on into the Azara. Yochanan ben Arbai should come in and fill his stomach with the kachim. The Gemara tells us that he would eat 300 agolim calves, 300 garve yayin, and 40 saw of birds. Some say that it means over an entire year. And the 4th scream was, Yisachar ish kfar barkoi, get out. What did he do? He was a kohen gadol who used to put silk on his hands. He was a istinus, he didn't want to touch the blood, and it's a big problem. First of all, it's chatzitza. Second of all, it's a bizayin for the kachim. The Gemara tells us an amazing story. The king and the queen, Yanai HaMelech, was sitting with his wife, and they had an argument. What tastes better? Is it goat meat or lamb? He said, you know what? There's no one better than a kohen gadol. He has so much available to him. He'll tell us the difference. They call him in, and he heard the question, and he went with his hand like this. Shtusim. A bizayin to the king, and he said, the queen is right. It's the keves that tastes better because we bring every single morning a tamid, every afternoon a tamid, and it's from lamb, not from goat. Says Yanai, since you said it in such bizayin, first of all, you didn't say that I'm right. Second of all, you went with your hand, you made fun of us. Let's chop off your right hand. So he went and he paid a bribe to the hand cutter And he said, cut my left hand instead. So he cut his left hand. The king found out and said, let's cut off his right hand. And says Rav Yosef, Baruch Hashem, that Ish Kfar Bar Kai, he got paid in this world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took care of him, so that he was able to be Zoicha to Olam Haba. Says the Gemara, Rav Ashi and Ravina and Rav Ashi, those who wrote the Gemara, Rav Ashi says, had he learned Mishnayos and Braisos, he would have known that they're equal. Because B'derech Klal in the Torah it says sheep before goats, but by Chatos it says goat before sheep to teach us that they are equal. Says Ravina, even in the Torah it says Im Keves Imeiz. In the pasuk it says doesn't make a difference. They're both the same. And with that we finish Mokoim Shenagu Uslika Pesach Rishon. Have a wonderful day.